Welcome to the Twins Click podcast. I am Claudia, and this is a project that gathers stories about our favorite artists, the Twins, to celebrate them and their fans. In this podcast, we discuss their influence in our personal lives as well as their impact in broader culture. My next guest is Cayenne. She's been a fan for over a decade and has been to several events. But for her, what it is really all about is applying the Twins' energy and inspiration to stay focused, believe in herself, and do the things that she really wants to do. As usual, you can find links to events, performances, or even posts mentioned in the conversation down in the description below. Enjoy. Hello, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited about this podcast. I was um all day I was just like, okay, is it 7 o'clock yet? Because I was ready to start.
I felt giddy all day yesterday because I love when people are so excited to come on a podcast. Like I can feel
Yeah,
it that you
yeah,
genuinely, you're
yeah,
appreciating it. So I love that. It feeds me too.
yeah.
So just to know a little bit about you, where are you from or where are you based?
Well, I am kind of bi-coastal right now. I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I went to college in Texas, and I didn't like Texas, so I went back home to New Orleans, and I met my son's father, and I had my baby in New Orleans, and I kind of raised him there in New Orleans until about 2016. We moved to Houston.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we were back and forth between Dallas and New Orleans after Katrina, but we finally went back to New Orleans and then we went to Houston in 2016. And my son graduated from high school, and I just promised myself that I would just travel, travel as much as I could after he left high school.
And have you kept your promise to yourself?
Yes, I have. I currently live between my son's in Dallas, so I have a house there, and I live most of the time in California. I'm a
Oh,
nurse. Yeah, I'm a nurse, so I travel right outside of LA, maybe an hour outside of LA, and then sometimes I spend some time in New Orleans also when I'm off from work, and then I'm in Europe sometimes, maybe 2, 3 months out of the year. Yeah,
okay. Then we'll talk about that too. Yeah, New Orleans is my favorite place in the US. I love it. It was,
it's the best.
how did you feel seeing Larry and Lowe in New Orleans recently?
I was just overjoyed. Claudia, growing up in New Orleans and walking those streets and riding the streetcar and seeing stand on St. Charles Avenue with the streetcar behind him, and knowing that I grew up on those streets as a kid. Right before I left New Orleans permanently, I was right across the street from there. Some friends had a party at the Eiffel, which is right across the street from where Laurent and Larry were at the
Oh,
Jordan event.
wow.
Yes, and so I was just like, this is like crazy. It's like deja vu or something. I don't know. It's just so interesting. But I was just overjoyed. I can tell you, watching them over the years, they, the reason why I love them so much, because they just feel like home to me. I don't know if it's just
Mm.
a French thing. I don't know if it's a Creole thing. I don't know what it is, but their mannerisms, the things they say, the things they do, how their mom is, how they interact with their mother, is just so familiar to me. And it's so crazy. They feel like family a lot of times. And I'm just it's just real it was when I saw them there, I wanted to go so bad, but I had some issues with the hospital where I was working at. And usually I can switch my weekdays and go to events, but I think it was because it was Super Bowl weekend. I couldn't find no doctor, no nurse, anybody to switch with me the weekend. And so I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna just leave it alone." But just watching the videos of them there and then at that event and just knowing that they're in my city having a good time eating the food, I was just praying that they were having a good time, so it was just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
how did you get into them? How did
Well,
that happen for you?
I had seen them a number of times. I'm a Beyonce fan. So I had seen
Hmm.
them with Beyonce. But I took a notice to them when Beyonce did the Glastonbury Festival in I think it was in England.
Hmm. Yes.
They were standing on each side of her, and the way they were dancing was just so mesmerizing to me. And I took notice of them, and then just life going on in life. I was a single mom, so I was raising my son. So my son brought me a video of them dancing at the World of Dance. My
Yeah.
son, my son is was into theater in high school, and he's a musician. So he knows that I like dance. I used to like to dance a lot when I was younger, but more like hip hop dancing and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that's cute. They're really good and blah, blah, blah. And so my son took a liking to them. And so when I realized that he liked them, I promised him that we would go and see them, go to a workshop.
Yeah.
And the workshop in Atlanta, it was right after they had won the World of Dance on TV on
Wow.
NBC.
Mm.
And we went to the one in Atlanta. It was right before Christmas. It was an early Christmas gift because it was a week before Thanksgiving. And when I was just like, okay, I'm going to take my son to see these guys, and
Yeah.
just to show my son that, being in the industry is real, you can make money at it, just wanted him to have something tangible to show him that, yeah, keep working at it and, things can happen. So I went there and I tell you, I was blown away at the talent that they
Mm.
possess. It's one thing to see them on YouTube, it's one thing to see them on television, but it's a whole nother thing to see them in person. And the passion and love that they have for their craft was just amazing. Another thing is my son had a learning disability when he was young, and he had what's called auditory processing disorder, and which is crazy because he's a musician.
What is it? I never heard of it.
It's the way he processes sound, not necessarily sound, but verbal commands.
Yeah.
He hears it differently. It's a form of dyslexia, but not necessarily with reading, but with hearing. So
Interesting.
it's very crazy, um,
Yeah.
but him playing music, being in theater, and I just thought taking him there would show him that, there are other people with talents that they use their talent to make a living and to, make money at their talent. And he just enjoyed himself at the workshop. I was just blown away. When I got back and I started to get more involved in researching them, finding out where they were from, I knew they were French and things like that. And I'm telling you, they opened up the world to me. We as Americans, we're very closed in. We don't really see the outside world very much. For me, they were the spark that showed me, there's really a whole world out there and even a bigger world for Black people. There are Black people all over the world, Black people that speak all different languages. They speak
Sure.
French, they're bilingual. You don't really necessarily meet bilingual Black people in America. That
Right.
just threw me away. That seems so simplistic, but that blew
No,
me
it makes
away.
a lot of sense.
Yeah. And so it's just, I mean, I was just in awe of them and the way that it was like they're very inspiring. There's a quote that is, I don't know where it's from, but your dreams will make room for you. When they told their story about how Beyonce discovered them, they weren't looking for
Yeah.
her,
Hmm.
they weren't looking for her. She found them,
Yes.
and it's just a testament to, God's grace and how and your path.
Yes.
And I'm still in awe. I mean, it's been over 10 years and they really still just make me feel excited about life, basically, and the potential of life.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully
Yeah,
worded. I feel the
yeah.
same. So you started to learn French as well because of them, or was that
I did.
before?
I did. I started to pick, I wanted to learn another language. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but that's because I've lived in Texas for so much and
Right.
working with a lot of Spanish speaking patients in my community. Um, but I wanted to learn French a long time ago, but I picked Spanish because of work and being in college. But um, when I promised myself when my son graduated that I was going to take a trip to Paris, which I did. I've been three times already so,
Oh,
since 20
cool.
since 2020. But I love the city, and I've learned a few words. I mean, I've learned a few phrases, a lot of phrases, but I don't have the confidence to speak in conversations. I really have to just speak it every day to be able to feel confident in um in my conversation skills. Just I I wanted to tell you when you asked the question about how they inspired you. When my son graduated from high school, it was 2020, and as you know, we were right in the thick of the pandemic. I was working in the ICU in the intensive care unit during that time. I was a nurse in
Right.
the unit. I was taking care of people that were dying every day,
Right.
and I was zipping up body bags every day,
Wow.
multiple times a day. And as you know, that can weigh a lot on your mental health. I don't doubt that I probably have PTSD from working in the ICU from that time.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me through was watching their videos
Oh,
because I promised myself once we got through this, I was going to go see them. And just the thought of seeing them after we got on the other side of this pandemic kind of kept me going a lot of
mm-hmm.
times.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it was hard. It was hard because you know at that time we didn't know what this was. We had no point of reference on what to do. We were all just winging it, and we just didn't know what to do. And so I just prayed, and I was just like, God, you know what my dreams are. You know what I hope to do after I finish raising my kid. And so, I don't want to let go of that. And the Lake Twins were a big part of that because I had wanted to and dreamt of going to places they have been and to see other countries that they have been. The sheer travel that they do and the places they have been is just so inspiring to me.
Yeah, same.
And I saw a video of the twins dancing in Ukraine maybe 3 months before the war broke out.
Yes, I love that video so much.
And I just was like, like what the people that were surrounding them in the street, like you think, like, where are they now? It's so mind boggling to me and I'm so happy for them that they got to experience the twins, Larry and Laurent, before such tragedy hit. But they are just amazing to me.
And I feel like they have this thing that I can relate to, that they feel comfortable everywhere they are.
Everywhere
Like it
they
doesn't
are.
matter what part of the world they are, they just feel comfortable. And even if like they're going and they're changing, city every 3 or 4 days, they're in a different place, different continent, they look like so at ease. And so like that's where they're meant to be. And for me, like I'm like that too. And it's just like, oh, seeing somebody else really living like that is so energizing to me.
For some people, you just have to see it to know it's real. I didn't really know and I'm almost 50 years old, and it's just like I'm learning from these young men. I'll be 50 in December. Just learning from these young men is just astounding to me sometimes. I mean, what they go through in a month, people don't go through in their whole lives. The places that they have been, people can't catch up to them as far as traveling around the world. Another thing is so funny to me, especially with Laurent sometimes. He has this I call it Sagittarius energy. They both do, but Laurent has a little bit more to me. But I understand them so well because my birthday is only 10 days after theirs.
Okay. So you're a Sag too.
Yes. And so we have that. One of the fans I was talking to, she described it as main character energy, and I have that too. Like, and so when Laurent's being like big and grand and just like people think it's arrogance, but I totally get it. It's not. You just feel like you're the main character, and that's how I feel a lot of times, too. So I totally get it. Some people think it's a turn off, but I mean, I totally get it. I laugh because he has so much energy and he uplifts you and he encourages you to have the same thing, to believe in yourself and to promote yourself, you know. So,
And I feel like they are pure life force. That's what I feel. Whenever I watch them, I feel like it's just like this acceleration of energy.
yeah,
Just so beautiful. The intensity in which they live.
it's amazing. It's amazing on even the aspect in which they were on the mental health tour. And they had come in contact with a lot of physicians, neurologists, especially pediatric physicians. I saw a video once that Laurent was describing that he had spoken to a pediatric neurologist who had told him that some of his patients who had some closed brain injuries, um, after watching their videos, had developed um, new neural pathways in the brain.
Oh my
That
God.
could be documented on an EEG, like it's just crazy. It's like, this has to come from God. I mean, there's just no
Yeah.
way. There's just no way. And I told my sister one time, I said, it's like God gave them something. Every God gives everyone something, but whatever God gave them, they wrote it till the wheels fell off. Like they really used everything. Their everything that God gave them, to they've been everywhere, they've met everybody, they really have lived life to the fullest. And that just goes back to like when I was describing dealing with people dying and things like death and dying. I hate to make this so morbid, but I just promised myself I would live every day as if it was my last. You have to just don't think about it, just like they say, because you never know when you're going to get another chance. And they live life to the fullest every day, and I just love that about it. They don't think about tomorrow, what are going to do. They just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So you were saying that during COVID, you promised yourself that when you had an opportunity again to see them, you would go, and that was the Dallas workshop. Is that the next opportunity?
I actually was working in LA and I had a trip planned to Paris, and so I I bought tickets to the LA workshop, but I worked nights, so I overslept, so I missed it. I missed it. My alarm didn't go off. So
Oh, wow.
it just so happened, things happen for a reason. I don't know why, but I was maybe like 3 weeks after that, or 2 weeks after that I planned my trip to go to Paris. So I came home to Dallas to pick up my sister, and that very weekend was the weekend that they were here with Beyonce. So I got the chance to see them in Dallas, and when I saw them in Dallas, every time I see them, it only reinforces what I already know, or what I think
Mm.
I know, or what I believe about their talent and where they're going. And I promised myself this year that I would see them less, but concentrate more on being more of the person that I want to be. You know,
Hmm.
you remember how Lola was saying that Laurent told her, next time I see you, I want you to be doing what you want to do, and that's what I want. So,
Perfect.
I have plans. I have things that I want to do. I want to write. I'm writing a cookbook. I want to start another business, and I wanted to change my career and get away from the hospital and do more
Yeah.
aesthetic nursing. So
Okay.
yeah. So I've been in the hospital setting for over 20 years, so I'm kind of like ready to go. But yeah, so I just promising myself the next time I see them, I'm going to be doing more of what I want to do. I don't want to
I
be,
feel like
yeah,
you're already doing it. Like
yeah,
I feel from you that you get this energy from them and you apply in your life.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. When I saw them in San Francisco, I had gotten sick last year, and the doctor put me on these steroids, which made me just blow up. The weight, I just gained so much weight. And I thought I had it under control, and I think I don't know, but I went to the San Francisco workshop and I saw myself on camera. For some stupid reason, I didn't move from behind Laurent while he was dancing. And so all the YouTube content creators got me on TV, got me on camera.
And you didn't like that?
I didn't like it at all.
Oh.
But and so I was so self-conscious about my weight. But since that
Mm.
workshop, I've lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
And it's just inspired me to keep going. But Laurent is he's so sweet. He had told everyone that he wasn't taking any pictures. He didn't want to
Okay.
take any pictures.
Yeah.
He ended up taking a few with these kids, and then another guy who said he had driven all the way from San Diego. But other than that, he didn't take any pictures with anyone else. Even though I was feeling self-conscious about myself, I went on the sidelines to charge my phone because I was getting ready to leave. The workshop was over, and I think Larry was just up talking, but Laurent was just sitting down. And so we ended up next to each other. I don't know if I walked over to him. I can't remember. But I never talked. I had never spoken to him directly. I would just say hi, how are you
Ah,
doing?
okay.
But this time I got the guts to really try to hold a
Yes.
conversation. And so I just made a joke. I said, "Oh, you were really serious about not taking pictures?" And so
Yeah.
he's like, "Okay, give me your phone." And so he took a picture. We took a picture together. And I
Mm.
was just felt like, "Thank you, God. That was for me." That was for
Oh,
me.
that's beautiful. Yeah.
That was really sweet of him because I know he didn't feel like taking pictures, which I can understand. You get tired of
Yes.
that sometimes, but I was just so grateful that he obliged me because I really needed that at that moment, and it really inspired me to like, you need to focus on your goals. Things gonna happen the way they're gonna happen, and it's gonna unfold, and just keep going. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he's awesome. Don't tell Larry this, but Laurent's my favorite. But
I feel like I need to balance it out. I really need some Larry girls on the podcast.
Larry just seems like, I'm just gonna be honest, and
Yeah.
I know that they feel me because they're very honest. So yeah, Larry is more of he's like my little brother. He just feels like little brotherish to
Mm,
me.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Laurent feels more like my peer. His energy is more like a peer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because of the birth order. I don't know, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but because,
Personality.
right, and, everyone knows that Larry's the baby of the family, even though they're twins. He was born last. So Larry is the one I would probably feel like I need to protect,
Uh-huh.
But Lo, we just so much alike, we're so grand. We have these big ideas. We're just go for things. People probably would say we're impulsive, but that's just, you know,
And I saw actually a beautiful picture of you with them at the Chicago
uh
tournament. I
yes.
love how you put like their picture with Beyonce and underneath your picture with them, like in a
That's just
similar pose. Really
my
cool.
my sister was laughing. My sister makes fun of me. My little sister makes fun of me all the time. She's like, she has she's the baby, so she has how Larry picks at Laurent a lot? That's how my sister is with me. And
Mm-hmm.
when she saw that post, she was like, "Girl, you are a mess." That just goes to like, that's how they make me feel. They make me feel like I'm Beyonce when I'm with them. You just feel on top of the world. And
No.
people might say that sounds so arrogant. Who you think you are? But
No.
that's just how I feel. That's just how
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah, they are
Yeah,
just.
no, don't put anyone on a pedestal. Like you deserve it.
I listen. I just know that I just appreciate being on the earth at the same time as them. I really do. I really do. I appreciate it a lot because they have changed my life so much. And I don't want to cry, but they have. And I was raised in a
Hmm.
very strict religious household. So I didn't get a chance
Christian.
to Christian household, yes. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. I was born Catholic and I had my first communion and things like that. But when I was 9, my mom joined the Adventist church and it was culture shock because we stopped listening to secular music, and I couldn't do anything. It's like my life shut down.
Hmm.
But I used to watch because I wasn't really outside with my friends a lot and stuff like that. I used to sit at home and this I'm telling my age, but this is when MTV came out and
Yeah.
BET came out and watching hip hop videos in the 90s and things like that. And I used to dance in the living room watching hip hop videos when I was a young
Hmm.
girl all the time. And so they always put me back in that mindset. The twins, they always make me feel like, the days when I discovered hip hop and how, freeing that was to me.
Yes.
They
Yes.
remind me of the old days so much when hip hop arrived and how liberating that was.
You
How
you
many,
wrote a post about that. I
yes,
remember when Lo was dancing in Paris early
yes.
last month.
I'm telling you, the way he dances, you would think you were back how the boys dance in my high school. Even now in Paris, when I'm watching the Criminals crew and all their old friends dance, and even now how they use hip hop to dance to, people don't usually dance to hip hop anymore in the United States. Um,
Hmm.
but they still kept hip hop alive and the dance aspect of hip hop alive in Paris. And
Hmm.
they just make me feel like I'm back when I was a kid again. And so just that was my outlet. Being raised in such a strict Christian, suffocating household,
Right.
listening to hip hop, watching hip hop videos, hip hop dancing was like my freedom. And so um fast forward 30, 40 years later, I'm still, they are a testament to that time for me. They're like my new freedom. And because of them, I want to go everywhere in the world. And I've been to Europe, I've been to London, I've been to Italy, I've been to everywhere in the Caribbean. I just want to go, go, go and experience people the way that they do. My love for traveling has and meeting new people has come through watching the twins and how they interact with people all over the world, from Brazil to Ukraine, you name it.
Yes. Japan, China.
Japan.
I'm just like noticing how there are new fan accounts on IG from Asian
Yes,
fans.
yes.
I love that. Like of just people who've discovered them recently, Korea, Taiwan, China, India, and I love that.
And
Refreshing.
you think about, I noticed that too, and you think about like, are those kids, is this as liberating for those kids as it was for me,
Hmm.
because are they living in such are they living in a place where it's constricting and this is their outlet to watch the twins, and you just wonder how other people, receive them. It's just wonderful to watch how much they mean
Hmm.
to others. It just shows that you don't have to be a creative for them to inspire you.
No, I think it's like applying the energy that they stir up. You apply it into your life in the way that is meaningful to you. Like you don't have to be a creative. You can, it apply to you, opening up to new cultures, knowing that you can do things that you want to
Yeah,
do.
what was surprising to me is um, I'm a nurse and I take care of the elderly community. And
Hmm.
one thing I was just so struck by is how many elderly fans they have who come to the workshop.
Wow.
It's, they come
Beautiful.
on wheelchairs, they come on their little rollators, and you just look at them like how do you inspire such a big age gap, age range,
Yeah, from babies to
raised to
yeah.
80 years old, it's just so amazing. It's just so amazing. I just love it. I just love being a part of that community, you know,
Hmm.
the Les Twins community. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any highlights from the Chicago World Tournament?
At the beginning of the tournament, when I went up to talk to them for my meet and greet, I didn't really know what to say because, like I said, I just watched them. I don't really talk to them a lot. I don't
Mm.
really speak with them a lot. I just like to watch and observe. But for the meet and greet, I got a chance to talk to them, and so um, when I spoke to Larry, I asked them, how are you guys? How are you doing? What are
Yeah.
you doing? And so it was kind of funny because I was just like, well, how you doing? How you been? What's going on with you? And they were like, huh? Like somebody's asking us how we're doing.
Ah, really? They were
Yeah,
surprised.
they were surprised, and they were looking at me like, oh, um, and Larry goes, well, I feel good. I've been doing this, I've been doing that, but for a second, it took him aback. He was taken aback, like, well, somebody's asking me how I know. So I don't,
Mm.
I don't know if they don't get that a lot. So just to share that moment with them and to just get to know them a little bit better
Yeah.
and how they are and how much they enjoy being around us and giving to the public is
Hmm.
just
Yeah, that's what I've heard people saying that they look like they really want to be there.
yes, yes. And where they find the energy, where they keep finding the time, how they keep up the momentum, I have no clue, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it. I thank God that they can do it. Yeah, because it blesses everybody.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
very
So
true. I remember that when we were chatting on Messenger, you were saying that I think I mentioned Law talking about, promoting yourself because you need to love yourself, like how he was saying that Larry tends to not promote himself.
yeah,
And he's like, you need to love yourself so much to promote your own work, which is like, like once again, it's stuff that I heard before, but just coming from him with his intensity, with his energy, it just like hits home in a different way. And I remember that you were saying that you wanted to say something about that on the podcast.
well, that ties into the fact what I was saying before is that the same energy that I put into going to see them, into the workshops, I need to pour into myself.
Hmm. Yes.
The financial resources, I've seen them, but what is going to see them if you're not pouring if you're not pouring into yourself?
Yes, I agree.
Lowe said one time that he is a fan of his fans, and I mean, I think he would be happier if we were pouring into ourselves as much as we pour into seeing them or being seen by them. I get that a lot of the fans, just for instance, like I was saying about how they were just out in the world doing what they do, and Beyonce found them. They weren't at home saying, wringing their hands. I hope Beyonce sees me. Oh, that was a good workshop. Oh, that was a good dance. I hope Beyonce sees it. They weren't worried about it. They were just doing what they love to do.
Yeah,
And I
to
think
the max.
to the max. And whoever is supposed to see it will see it.
Hmm.
And who's ever supposed to be a part of it will be a part of it. And it
Hmm.
just goes to having faith, being brought up in the church. You just have to have faith. As
Mm-hmm.
you walk, my dad used to say, as you walk, the way will appear. The way just doesn't appear with you
Mm-hmm.
standing there. You have to take the step, and as you take steps, the way appears. And
Yes.
I just, when Lo said that you have to promote yourself, and when Lola said he told her, next time I see you, I want you to be doing what you
What you want to do.
want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though she said he didn't have a lot of time with her, he made he made it a point to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows that, we get caught up in worrying who's going to see it, who's not going to see it, but don't worry about that. Just do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just do it. And I'm going to just do it.
Yeah.
I want to have my cookbook out.
What kind of cookbook is it?
Well, I have two ideas for it. I don't know which way it's going to turn out, but my grandfather, as I told you, I was raised in New Orleans. My grandfather was a chef, and he taught me how to cook. So I would like to dedicate a book or have a cookbook about all the recipes that he had.
Is it like Creole New Orleans
Yes,
food?
yes, definitely,
Favorite. I love.
yes, definitely, definitely. So it will be a book about Creole food, but I don't know if it's gonna be so personalized to my grandfather or just something I dedicate to him for teaching me how to cook. But I love cooking.
Mm-hmm.
My friends love my food. They're always saying how good my food is. So, you know, like you said, don't be shy. Believe in yourself. If your friends are
Yeah.
saying your food is good and you need to make a cookbook and you like doing this, you need to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I just need to start on my cooking and start on my cookbook. I am going to start my business too, and I would like to finish my doctorate degree. I started it, but I need to finish it. Yeah.
Okay. In what?
Yeah. It's called a doctorate of nursing practice. So
Okay.
it's just more of like being a physician, but you're a nurse, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's the degree was made for nurses who spend a lot of years being a nurse, but they don't want to go to medical school, but they still give you,
But I've got so much experience.
right,
Yeah.
right. They still give you doctor privileges, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, I just want to be at a doctor level in my
Yeah.
career. Yeah.
Beautiful.
With Lo, when Lo described how he started dancing and the arguments with his mom about it being a career and an official career and making money at it and having doubters, I'm just convinced that that gives you more resolve to do
Mm-hmm.
to prove people wrong, not wrong, but just to prove it to yourself that it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. How Lo used to talk about naysayers and don't listen to people who are
Mm-hmm.
doubting you. It just made me feel like you just have to ignore the noise because it's just noise,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah. But I totally can see in your face the love you have for them. Every time I talk to people about
Yeah.
them who are fans, their faces just light up, you
Yes.
know?
I'm just like I'm blown away every day. Like even this
Yeah,
morning, I was doing my dance because that dance is really my main passion.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like I watched Lola's new edit, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
like sometimes like I can't believe that they exist. That they embody that energy. Like it's exactly where I want to go. It's exactly that
Yeah,
path, and I'm just like so grateful. I feel like they're like a north star, like a point of reference, and I'm just like blown away. It's even more every day.
yeah, yeah. And I've learned, it just occurred to me that they're not here for us to go see them at every workshop to make that our life's work. It's to inspire you to do. Like we have to change. Like I'm gonna change. We need to change that. I know we like to go see them, but how is it? Are we using it? They're giving us these gifts every workshop, but are we really using them?
Yes. Exactly. Like the bottom line is really that is to use that energy to really do what you want to do, to express your full potential, to really like live in joy ultimately.
all the time. They are so joyful. And I mean, I don't have the words sometimes. I just got the word. You know, I just yes, I never had the words. People would ask me about them and I never had the words, but I just now can verbalize what they mean to me
Hmm.
after 10 plus years of being a fan of theirs. Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to concentrate more on myself and do more of what Lo expresses in the workshops is believe in yourself, do what you have to do, stop being late, stop being lazy. That's what he said. Stop being lazy. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that rather than being lazy, or at least for me, it's like insecurity.
it is.
That's what's like it is perceived as laziness because you don't do as much, but ultimately
Mhm.
it's because you're doubting yourself.
Yes.
And when that is gone, then you can go.
Yes. 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 For sure. I just overjoyed, and I'm excited to see what's next for them because I just pray. I pray every day for them, for their protection. They travel all the time, and they just feel like family to me all the time. It's just crazy. I try not to be so familiar with them when I'm with them, you know, but I'm like, it's just crazy. You know how someone just feels like you met them before in another life? I don't know. It's just weird. And I just I'm just overjoyed at how far they've come in such
Yeah.
short lives.
Like I feel like their energy is just sped up 100 times compared to the one of an average person.
I just want to thank you for this because I have in the 10 years that I've been a fan, I haven't seen anything done like this regarding the twins. So good job on that.
Thank you.
Um, I think it's gonna go far. Like I told you before, I think it's really needed because we don't get a lot of time with them. So this is something that is recorded and where they can listen to if they ever get the chance.
Yeah.
It's out there in the ether. So they, you know, you never know. But it is needed for the fans because sometimes we feel like we didn't get a chance to express to them
That's
how we feel.
hearing like people being like, I never actually told them how I feel because there's not enough time. And like the idea came because I was listening to fan podcasts of other artists, like
Mhm.
musicians, and specifically there was one, and I saw that it really like it went on for so many years, and it just became this beautiful collection of stories. They started to interview like people who would collaborate with
Mhm.
it was Jack White, the
Mhm.
musician, with
Mhm.
people who would collaborate with him, and it just became such a beautiful collection of stories of people who feel connected to him, of people who have collaborated with him, from like
Mhm.
costume designers to videographers to like all sorts.
Mhm.
And I thought it feels like a beautiful work of love.
Yes.
And I feel like, well, I would love them, especially as dancers. Especially, I would love to focus as well on the impact that they have in culture because I find
Mhm.
it's pretty massive.
Mhm.
And just so that, it is articulated and talked about as well.
Mhm. Yes. And I feel that it's gonna grow. Um, if people aren't shy about speaking about their feelings about the twins, I think it's gonna go go far.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. If I can do it, they can do it because I'm shy sometimes.
You know what I've been saying to people recently, because when they tell me this, they're like, "Oh, I'm too shy," and I'm saying, "No time to be shy."
That's what Lo said.
Yeah,
No time to be
no
shy.
time to be shy.
Oh
Yeah,
my God. Hey, just one last story, and then I'm gonna let you
yeah.
go. At the Dallas workshop, I was telling this to another fan. How Lo and Larry are so competitive with each other.
Hmm.
So we were at the Dallas workshop, and it was during the time that it was the choreographed part. and they had a lot of kids in there because it was at a ballet school or arts dance school. Split the class, and Lo was on the other side of the room, and I was on Larry's side of the room. And Larry could be long-winded sometimes when he's speaking to the children. Lo dismissed his students, and so he came and sat. Now this is at the time when I was too shy to say two words to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he came and sat directly in front of me. He was laying in front of a fan that was blowing. And
Yeah.
mind you, this is in Texas, in Dallas, in September, so it was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he laid down in front of the fan, and so I'm listening to Larry, but I'm like purposely not looking at him because I just too shy to interact. So Larry was saying that, telling the kids the usual, believe in yourself, believe in God, and Lo, you could see he was kind of getting frustrated, like, why is she paying attention to him and not me? So Larry says, yeah, believe in God. And so I said, amen, to Larry. And Lo set up, he was like, he looked at me, he said, Larry doesn't even pray. And I was just like, okay. He was so,
I like how they call each other out.
but this is the first time this man has ever said anything to me. And it's about the fact that I said amen to something Larry said. Like, what am I supposed to say? And what do you want me to do about Larry not praying? Like, why are you telling me that he doesn't pray? It's so funny. I was just like, oh my God, this is just hilarious. I mean, he was mad. Like, he was looking at me like, girl, what's wrong with you? Don't you know he don't even pray? Why you saying amen? It was so funny. That's just one of my funny stories.
Yeah, beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But thanks again for this.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here and sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and impressions. And also, if you want to keep on listening to more episodes, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for listening again. See you all next time.